So the Mars-Pluto conjunction, 3 degrees of Aquarius, same as the Venus conjunction and the Mercury conjunction, and those were on the 19th and 22nd, respectively. So we have a little bit of a gap where the two of them are clearing that energy, they're moving away, they're back to just regular Mercury and Venus transiting through Aquarius, through that area of life. And then Mars is like, haha, my turn. Third time's a charm on January 27th. So Mars represents action, passion, motivation. And Pluto is destruction and rebirth. So it's that cycle of this scorched earth situation and then Phoenix rising from the ashes. That's the visual for Pluto. So again, very, very intense. And then, of course, the power dynamics between people and even like our own relationship with power. And this is especially important when we're thinking about Mars, which wants to take action. So if we're wanting to take action as relates to power, ... For our reference point, we can look back, flip back in our calendar to February 14th, 2024, Valentine's Day. What a day for this to have happened last. Taking Aquarius out, Mars-Pluto conjunctions tend to elicit an intensity in our determination. So we're already motivated, but now it's like visceral. It is from our soul how intense we are. We may decide to take on some challenges. Again, we're thinking about power. Maybe we're looking to seek power. And this is a step, a challenge that we want to achieve to help us gain that or to regain power in whatever way or fashion. It could be as relates to people. It could be as relates to money, resources. We also may experience resentment or assertiveness in the face of authority. So we are going against, quote unquote, the man, the figures that contain and hold the most power. And so we are looking to take action or speak out or be direct or blunt in their direction. So that could mean protesting or boycotting, any other things. So for this particular event, we would expect that our motivation is reborn. So I was giving an example earlier. It's like hitting a reset button where it's like, okay, whoa, I am now extra motivated. So maybe something happens in and around this time. And now we're like really at attention. Okay, I got to do something about this. This is serious. That's the energy. We also may feel called to take some intentional action. And the reason it's intentional is because it is stemming from such a deep place, our soul, our truth. It's meaningful. Pluto doesn't do anything without there being meaning for us. It's not destruction for destruction's sake. It's destruction to be reborn, to renew, to be new. And then lastly, we may also pursue just creating some new structures. So again, we're thinking about starting over. We have Aquarius as well, which is very, it's Saturn ruled, so very structure oriented. So we're wanting to move the needle, but in a very intentional way, in a long-term planning and thinking way that works with Aquarius, that works with Pluto, and that it's aligned with our soul's purpose, with complete brutal honesty and truth. So yeah, again, all of these transits, all of these conjunctions with Pluto, you can frame them in a way that doesn't sound scary and terrifying. And that is why we just want to keep in mind, we want to know and be aware of both ends of the spectrum. And then, of course, layer in our chart to see, well, how might that differ? How might that be colored? Which end of the spectrum might I be more likely to land on, or be somewhere in the middle with a mix? All right, I'm getting nudged to talk about the second house, so I'm going to talk about that one and then see for other people's that come in. So second house, if this is happening in the second house for you, then those power dynamics, those actions that you're taking are rooted in 1, money, 2, self-worth. That's a big deal. This is exposing the truth, looking to act in alignment with who it is that you really are, what your worth is. If there's people that have been making you feel less than, or not supporting you financially, or hindering maybe your business or your job, however it is that you are earning money, the control of your assets. It could be material, it can be physical. What it is that you own, what your name is attached to. Your value system. We're taking a hard look at that, and we're trying to make some changes. We're trying to walk a different walk. We want to carry ourselves differently. We want to carry ourselves with the confidence and conviction of our truth and better understanding of ourselves, and the knowledge, this is an Aquarius, that we can connect to community. We don't have to walk it alone. We don't have to build our self-worth, build our financial, arsenal resources by ourselves. We can still be in collaboration if that's what is going to support us. And if that's where this is in your chart, then yes, it likely will be that there's some connection with other people, or some of your worth being linked to community and connection. So in this sense, it's not a scorched earth of not being around people. People are very important for you forming how you are earning money or dealing with money, your relationship with money, and how you are valuing yourself, treating yourself as valuable. So you can take some different actions on this day about how you're going to take care of yourself, how you're going to show with each choice that you make that you have the power and reclaim it. Very interesting transit for second house people. Fourth house, low, we have home. So your home, your family, your origin, your ancestry, caretakers, so parents or whoever it is that raised you, it's that childhood. What are those dynamics like? What's your relationship with your parents or the people that raised you, whether living or past? What goals do you have related to your house, your living situation? Ownership, again, we're talking about power. Home ownership, apartment ownership, condo ownership. Like what do you own? What do you have power over? Power over the domain of your house, power over your life story. You could take action in this space by trying to get a house, trying to change your house, trying to sell your house. Because again, you could sell your house to earn money, power. So lots of different ends. Something with ancestry, kicking off an initiative that is relating to finding the truth about your family or history. Ooh, 12th house. I'll talk about 8th house quick, but 8th house and 12th house have reputations for having pretty weightier themes, so they kind of go along with the Pluto energy. For 12th house, that is the soul growth. That is the introspection, which we already have. We already have a little bit of that action going on with the Pluto energy. And for 8th house, we have the rebirth side of Pluto. So we have a little bit of a flavor from each of those. So Pluto is connected in a lot of ways archetypally to those two houses. So really what we're layering on is the Mars piece. So for the 8th house, again, those actions, how are you reasserting your power as relates to joint resources? So this is the opposite of 2nd house. So it's the money that's coming in, the money that you receive from other people, the money that you share with other people, your mental health as relates to your actions, as relates to your relationship with power. Do you feel powerful? Do you feel powerless? Mental health, when we're saying, oh, it's talking about mental health, it doesn't mean that it means you have a mental health crash out. It could be, I am fortifying, I am rebirthing, transforming my mental health. I am taking action. Maybe it's therapy, maybe a certain type of spiritual practice, shadow work. Shadow work also heavily works for the 12th house because that's looking at the soul, that's looking at what's quiet, in private, in isolation. So for either or both of these, you could really be taking action by going inward, saying, I'm going to do that soul work. I'm going to figure out the truth. But keeping in mind the parameters of the more dysfunctional connotations for the Mars-Pluto conjunction in general, that's like, okay, you could have some, suspicion around what's going on with other people and resentments of what's going on with other people and who has the power. And if you feel that you don't have the power, so we don't want to necessarily fall into that. We're trying to regain our power. 8th house for our mental health, for harnessing to be reborn and transformed. For 12th house, for healing our soul, healing our spirit, healing our wounds. We have to look at those wounds to heal them. We have to not just look at them, not just think about them, which is what we would have done with Mercury, what we would have done with Venus. We're going to do something about them. We're going to do that journaling practice. We're going to talk to that therapist. We're going to maybe have that conversation with somebody that we need to get that out. So whatever that is, there's some action that's taken saying, I am going to heal this. I see the truth. I see the problem. I see the issue within myself, the relationship that I have, what needs to be tended and healed. And also specifically for the 12th house, it would suggest that part of your soul work and some wounding is linked to Aquarius, meaning you could be reflecting specifically on dynamics with people. Do you feel connected to people? Do you feel connected to community? Do you feel hope for a future? Hope for the collective for the future? So those, again, could be some things that get stirred up. What are actions that you could be taking that could allow you to, after this, in this rebirth process? Again, we have Pluto for the next 18 years that's moving through this. But these little checkpoints with these conjunctions help to give you bursts to do the healing that we're all doing in this area. But how can you continue on this journey to make sure that you are tending to those wounds as relates to community, as relates to change? My 9th in opposition to Uranus, and 3rd also conjunct Chiron, 2 degrees wounding. So in a kind of similar quality to 12th house, even though we're talking about 9th, because 9th house, you're learning the Pluto power dynamics. You're looking at, okay, maybe what are the power dynamics in the world, in culture? What's going on really in the big picture? Power dynamics within the universe, within studies, within the education system, or ways that I am learning and acquiring information. What are the power dynamics going on there? What are the actions that I want to take to learn in any and all of those spheres? To learn about the globe, spirituality, religion, intuition, any sort of modalities in that realm? And how can I use what I am learning about to make it actionable in alignment with my truth, with the wounds that I'm supposed to be healing, Chiron? You're supposed to master this area of life to be able to teach it to other people. So Pluto being right in and around there as well, sitting and activating your Chiron, you've probably been feeling this for some period of time with Pluto being right there, wounds being kicked up, deep reflections, and that introspection on what does it mean being in this world, learning this information. Who am I relative to the powers that be, whatever level we're discussing? Mars coming in on this day is, and what am I going to do about it? What am I going to change? What am I going to adjust? How am I going to pivot so that I can keep growing, transforming, and healing myself?